Hey everyone, I'm Adrian Passarelli, and I'm excited to share my behind the experience with you on my discovery of drumming experience. Be nice. When you're touring, you're in close quarters with so many people. You're in a little bubble that's moving around everywhere together. So you have to be mindful of that all the time. You have to be mindful that you don't want to upset people. You want to make sure that everyone is comfortable. You want to be, you want to try to keep everything cool. The worst thing that can happen is if you're touring and you don't like somebody, because you're going to see that person all the time, day and night. You're traveling in a bus, you're at airports, you're in cars together. You're together a lot of the time. So the main thing you have to really be aware of is just being able to fit in and have, be tolerable and tolerate. In this lesson, we're going to work on the basics of counting music and just counting rhythms. And then we're going to move on to some very simple rudiments like singles, doubles, and paradiddles. That we did at the beginning with Alessia. We had to go into studios really quickly, and they were radio stations, and we would have to play and then move on to the next place really quickly. So I was lucky enough, normally artists would do that just with a guitar player, and they just zip along really quickly and do their thing. But the very first show that I had with Alessia, we were warming up backstage, and I had a kick drum pedal, so I put it up to my luggage, and I started playing with brushes on the top of the luggage, and then just hitting the luggage with my kick drum pedal.
Into a cajon.
Yeah, and it was like a mini drum kit, and she loved it. And then I ended up doing all of the I did award shows with her with that. We did huge shows. We did the album premiere for Know It All, and I played a luggage. I played a suitcase that I converted into a drum kit. So.
Are you sponsored by Samsonite?
No, but I was looking into it. I actually was looking into it. In this lesson, we're going to implement the rudiments that we learned into beats that we're going to play. Solo. At an audition, they'll usually tell you what they want you to do, and if you go into your own mind and you're like, well, I'm going to show them all the things that I do, no one really wants to see that. They usually, actually, in most cases, if you're not listening to them right away at the audition, the chances are you're gonna be doing that for most of the time. You're gonna throw all of your chops in, or whatever you have that wasn't asked from you. You want to be a team player, and that's what, if you're having an audition, somebody is inviting you to their team, and if you're not going to listen to them right off the bat, to me that's the worst thing you could do. All right, in this lesson, we're going to work on breaking apart our limbs and control over our limbs with independence exercises. I was in a band called Bass is Bass from Toronto, and we were opening up for James Brown. And the next day, I had a gig, like a bar gig. So I show up at the gig, and I'm like, where's my stick bag? I left it at the venue, the previous venue. And so I get there, and I'm kind of late and setting up, and the band's like, okay, we got to go on. And I think I had no drumsticks. The bass player had one drumstick, and they were like, we got to start. So I ran into the kitchen, and I grabbed a wooden spoon, and I did the whole gig with a wooden spoon and a drumstick. In this lesson, we're going to work on the importance of listening to music and researching what influenced the people that are influencing you. Well, the last few tours that we've been doing with like Coldplay and Shawn Mendes, where we're in stadiums and arenas with, everywhere, anything from 30,000 to 115,000 people. So that energy, like I would spend a lot of time on stage just looking at the people looking at us and just thinking, wow, this is incredible. Like this whole movement of people gathering together to see 4 or 5 or 3 people on a stage it's magical. It's really magical. And a lot of times too, early in the morning when we get to a venue, I'd go and climb up to the highest, tiniest seat at the back of the venue just to see, okay, what's going on here? Somebody back here paid for a ticket to see this little, and then from up there it looks like a little tiny cracker. And just seeing that and just thinking, okay, we have to throw our energy all the way to that seat with that person with a poster in their hand, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So that has to come back. Thank you for checking out my behind the experience, and I'm really excited for you to see the rest of this on VRLU.